Welcome back, everybody, to Midnight Music Musings. I'm your host, as always, the future legend himself, Jeremy. I've seen the saucers fly over during the San Diego Serenade. What a sight! I'm
Wow.
always, you know me, I'm always fumbling with the blues, but getting drunk on the moon certainly helps.
Yeah.
I live, I live in a sick city. No offense to my city, but don't let the sun go down on me, my damn Dixie. However, the other half of this show, my co-host, she's a sweet thing who is a ticking time bomb. We all know it's true. She told me, please call me baby, but I can't because you're so static. And my phone don't like that. She's a candidate for my heart, though when she wears her low-cut shirts, it's like stepping into Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, the bitch is back, Jaimie motherfucking Fuller.
Hey, okay. Every time I'm like, all right, it gets better and better. But the fact that I love you, Jeremy. Love you, love you. That was a great time. I'm loving it. But absolutely, welcome. I'm excited for this week. Let's go.
Yeah,
See, folks,
you worked that in so well. That was really
He
that was
really does a
poetry.
great job. He's done this for a very long time, but I get shocked almost every time he does it. So
Yeah.
we love Jeremy for that.
Just the
yeah,
glided right into that ending.
and folks, you gotta love a co-host. Most other female co-hosts, if I said the bitch is back, I would end up getting bitch slapped through the fucking screen. Jaimie just rolls with it. I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
I'm an asshole though, so I mean I can be a whole lot more than a bitch, so I'm okay with that. Thank you. That's a compliment.
And there you go, folks. There you go. But of course, folks, we can't do this show without a guest. Well, I mean, we can. We might at some point in the near future, but we usually don't. And our guest this week is one I've been looking forward to for a while now. Mr. John Hamilton, musician, pastor, and author. What a combination of things there. And welcome, John. I am truly
Thanks,
honored to have you on
Jeremy.
the
Thanks,
show.
Jamie. Thanks.
We're not worthy.
You're very worthy. You're very worthy.
I,
Yeah.
I have to say, I perused your Spotify artist account for the last couple days, and you got some. I actually have like almost all your albums into my to listen to folder on Spotify because I want to go more in depth with them. But from what I heard, I'm liking it. I mean,
Well,
that first
thanks.
album, that first album from 60 to None, like I love
Yeah.
that album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's just, I mean, thank God there's Spotify out there so that we can, because I was thinking that with the stuff that we're working on tonight, I had all of these things in vinyl in 1974. So now everything gets streamed. So this is going to, I wish I still had them in vinyl. I don't, but this is going to be a lot of fun tonight. A lot of fun.
You know, my dad had an amazing vinyl collection of 70s stuff, and then when he died, I freaking don't know what happened to it. It kind of pisses me off because I kind of wanted it.
Fact that you
But
say that, and I can go to my parents' vinyl stash right now and find the White Album and many other legends in there. I'm like, you know what? Now that you got me thinking, I need to go check for these vinyls. I need to go check for these vinyls because damn, we all three picked great. We all did.
This is a really interesting grouping of people. I'm looking forward to this.
I got opinions, but yes, I agree. But before we move on, hey Harley, thanks for watching. And Harley, we all know this. We all know this. You don't need to tell us. But but love you. But yeah, you're right about that. You're 100% right about that.
I mean, we know you're a girl. We know you're a B girl, but we got this. We got this.
But I'd like to always start these, John, especially with musicians, by asking, what got you into doing music?
Oh man, well, I'm afraid it's a little bit of the tired old story of being in the my parents' den when I was in 19 on whatever that beginning of February 1964, and I had played up until then. I was a singer and had studied classical piano, but the Beatles came on Ed Sullivan, and it's an old story, but the reason it's an old story is it's true. I mean, it was like, that is what I'm going to do. And fortunately, I was able to do it. And I mean, not to that level.
Oh,
but,
stop it. You have a gorgeous talent. A gorgeous.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And but yeah, I mean, that just, it was like, the skies opened up and there was a whole, the scene in The Wizard of Oz when it goes from black and white to color. So, yeah. And there was a lot of music in my family. My father was a singer, the big Irish family that every time that there was a gathering, everyone knew songs. So I couldn't escape it.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, a variety of music you do is amazing. Like, it's so many different genres, like, kind of thrown together in a way. I mean, it goes from 60s, 70s sounding rock to what I believe is Beatles and other covers to just solo piano work, which is amazing. Piano work, it's amazing. Like, it's not usually my type of thing, instrumentals and all that, but I mean, I'm sitting there listening to them and I'm like, these are beautiful. I'm like, some of these are.
I really appreciate that, Jaimie. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, you live this long enough, you have a chance to experiment in several different styles. So,
yeah, I mean, the title, you actually nailed the titles better than I ever heard anybody nail instrumental titles, like, perfectly. Like, I actually can feel that title when you play the song. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, good.
Like, this is
good. That's the whole purpose. If you can, have somebody say, yeah, that's exactly the right title for that song, then you have fulfilled your purpose there.
Yeah, I think it's the winter sunset one, like, hit me perfectly. I was like, oh my God. I'm like,
Yeah.
this does feel like a winter sunset kind of
Yeah.
feeling. So
Yeah.
I was impressed. I really was.
Well, thanks. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Thank you very much for that.
Always try to, when I have a musician, I always gotta try to, like, listen to their stuff if I could find it. Some of them you can't find it yet, which is always a sad thing. But the ones I can, I'm gonna at least give them a listen and see if I want to peruse more later on, which I definitely do. As I told you before we went on air, a lot of those albums are in my list to listen to. It's a long list,
good.
but
Good.
I'll get there eventually.
Yep. Good. I'm sure. Yeah, you guys must listen to a lot of music, because I know. Getting ready for tonight, I listened to a lot of music. There's going back over those albums. That was a real trip.
Usually every 2 weeks, it's usually 6 albums, and then for specials, it's usually every 2 weeks about 30 to either 32 or anywhere up to like 50 songs. So
yeah,
I take in more new music in a bi-weekly period than anybody else in the world, I'm pretty sure. So
that is a lot of music. Yeah, a lot of music.
It can be daunting, but
let's say your Spotify or Apple Music overall would be popping with all sorts of stats for you at the end of the year. That is for darn sure.
It definitely affects the Spotify wrapped up every year, but it's funny because it's like the top 5 artists are always the same. And I'm just like, how? I've listened to 30 plus songs from the same artist multiple times this year. How is it that artist? I don't get it, but it is what it is. Algorithms and all that crap. But of course, we have to start with our guest album because they always set the tempo for each episode. What album did you want to bring us, and why this one? I'm as someone who was completely foreign to this artist, I am truly curious to why you picked him out of all the artists in the 70s even.
Okay, that's one. I was kind of hoping to pick something that was a little off the beaten path, and somebody who might throw a little bit of some sort of a different flavor into things here. I actually I've been a fan of this guy for Tom Waits for a long time. He's been well, let me rephrase that. His music has continued to change over the course of time. He's really moved into experimental music where he did kind of lose me around 2000. but up until that point. The reason that I know him is there's a club in Boston called Passim. You probably have heard of Passim. I was opening for him. This was back when just as this album was coming out that he has, this Hard Saturday Night. He came walking into Passim for sound check. He looked like the janitor. I thought, who is this guy? And I had on like an old beat up sport jacket, like a tweedy sport jacket. And he had two Heinekens in one in each pocket. And he pulled out a Heineken. He said, "You want a beer?" And I had a beer with him. And I thought, this guy is either crazy or he is an incredible artist. And so we got up and he played a few songs for sound check. Then we did the show that night. So I had never really heard him, do his thing, sing his songs. By the third song, I was almost in tears. This guy he had the ability to cut to the heart, almost better than anyone I've ever seen. And so I kind of followed him. I just, whenever he was playing, if he was playing in the New England area, I would go to see him. I moved to New York shortly after that, played down there for a while. Whenever he would appear in New York, I would go see him. So I was just a huge fan, and basically because he had this great ability to experiment with music. He did a lot of jazz, which, I had spent some time at Berkeley, so I was kind of into jazz as well too. And just, he was an idiosyncratic guy. I mean, nobody does what he does, or maybe Ricky Lee Jones, but she was also a friend of his. So that's why I brought this album. I thought it would be like a kind of a left field piece to bring tonight.
Well, Jaimie, any preference on which one of us goes first this week? I'll leave it up to you.
I mean, usually you make me go, so I don't care.
I'll go first, and I have no sly motives this week of any kind. So,
I see. I knew this, but I see.
I have no sly motives this week.
It's
so
on Facebook, it's on every land, it's all over nation and worldwide. I see you.
See me all you could see me all you want, but and yes, yeah, I was not. I've heard of the name Tom Waits, however you say it, and I've heard the name. Never actually gave him a chance. Never actually sat down and listened to one of his songs on purpose. I might have heard it by accident. Who knows? But I mean, I never listened to one of his songs on purpose. I was gonna say, this album started off, and I was honestly at first not too thrilled. I'm like, okay, this is kind of Dave Matthews-ish, kind of Dog Fashion Disco-ish, all precursors to those bands, obviously. But I'm like, maybe they took some inspiration from this guy. I could definitely see that. But it started off, and the first few songs, I was like, I'm not getting into this. And then about halfway through the album, that started changing. And I was like, wait a minute, what's this now? I'm like, this guy changed it up. This guy changed it up a little bit, and I'm getting into the flow of it now. Because the way you described him looking when you met him is exactly how he looks in the album cover. Which is, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I had a feeling it was a self-portrait, but I was like, I wasn't 100% sure of that. And I mean, I found it rather enjoyable. My dad had a thing for jazz rock in a way. I mean, he loved Dave Matthews' Crash album. It's the only album I ever heard him listen to, but he loved Dave Matthews' Crash album. So I mean, I kind of grew up listening to that kind of rocky jazz music, and this didn't disappoint. I mean, there are definitely some songs that are better than others, 100%, but the songs that are good. And I mean, not everybody has a freaking great from start to finish album. Very few people can actually pull that off. So it's not like it's it's not like it's an insult to him even, because it's just not a thing. I'm sure there are people out there who like the songs I don't like. So everybody has their own taste. Yeah. But I mean, he impressed me. He definitely has skill. He definitely has that skill to put these songs together and make the notes hit just right. Because with jazz rock, you can't fuck around. The notes got hit just right, or the whole song goes off balance. You can't fuck around with it. So I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's definitely a couple of them that made it to my like list on Spotify, so I
Great.
thoroughly enjoyed
Great.
it. Uh, I mean, if I'm gonna rate it out of 5 stars, I'd have to give it I'll throw it a 3.8, 3.8, because I mean,
Wow.
it's not.
Okay.
I mean, and trust me, there's only a few that have gotten five from me or close to five, so that's not. It takes a lot for me to like an album. So this album definitely, I'm happy. I'm happy I heard it. I would hear more of his music and not complain about it. So, and you say he fell off him in 2000, which I've had artists do that where like they change their style up, and I'm like, I can't stand this freaking person anymore. So I've had that happen. I mean, mainly more in the rap genre, but I've had it happen in rock once in a while. So I mean, now I'm kind of here. You're curious, like, what did he do after 2000? I kind of got to hear this now to see if it's a train wreck.
Yeah. You'll be in for a shock, but yeah, yeah, that does happen with artists sometimes.
It 100% does. 100% does. Jaimie, what did you think of Tom Watts? How do you say it?
Wait.
Wait. All right. I thought so, but I didn't know the I was silent. I don't freaking know.
Tom waits for no man.
It's okay. I grew up with someone with the same last name. So besides that, I'll be honest. I rate my stuff out of 5 stars. It took me 2 times listening to it. One of the things that I had to get to kind of know it first, and then for me after that, it's like, okay, there's something about this album that hits me at home. I'm a band nerd, and I don't makes me sad. It was about this time last year we lost one of the most amazing band directors in the state of Iowa. He was nationally recognized on top of it. Mr. Guy Blair did an amazing job. We butted heads a lot. We had a lot of fun over the years.
Yeah.
Marching band, concert band, all of that from 1995 until 2003. He had me under his wing, and he also had me very mouthy. And one thing that he wanted to try to get me into a little bit more, like my sister, was to be in jazz band and do more with a talent that I didn't really tap into. I did hold myself back, but there was something about this music that the second time around it brought me back to that time in my life that I'm like, wait, I'm wondering now, and I'm gonna have to look into it, if any of the timing I was in school, if we played Tom Waits music, there's something familiar about it. I've also been in New Orleans that I feel like there's this certain situational vibe with this music that like you will really tap into it when you are in the right environment
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
you have the right mindset and interests. So if you're really not into it, you're really like you listen to 2 songs, you're going to be done. I get that, but there was something that made me open up in the middle of this album, like Jeremy was saying, but it brought me back to a time in my life that I was going through some major change, some major things going on. And it was when I went to New Orleans and everything rang true to me, felt great. So that is exactly where this brought me to. I debated at first if I was going to feel like it was like a 2 or 3 out of 5 stars, but I am going to give it not a 3.8, but a solid 4.0. I, I
Wow.
I do have to say it brought more out in me than I expected. So for that surprise is why I wanted to give it a higher ranking. There was just something home and familiar about it.
That's great. What instrument did you play?
I played the flute and the oboe.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that this one time at band camp stuff is like I've been living through that. I was in school when that stuff came out. So but I was never as amazing, and if my sister ever watches my stuff on Facebook, I'll never be as good as her.
Uh,
Ever.
yeah.
Ever.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll put it
Okay.
that
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I tapped into something that brought back some memories. That's great. That's great.
I didn't expect that. When I first started hearing it, I was just expecting a good music, a good time. And then it brought me somewhere different. So I appreciate that.
Super. Super. Glad to hear it.
God,
Yeah.
God damn you, Jaimie! You saw the smile on my face. You took the words right out of my freaking mouth. Oh,
No, you started to take the words out of my mouth, so you stop it.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but All right, this is the part I'm really dying to hear because I feel like it's gonna be different for everybody with this type of album. So, what are your top five off your own album, John? I'm dying to see what
Okay,
everybody has
so
here.
I'm going to go with the opener, new coat of paint for number five. And you doing five down to one? Is that the way you're going to go two times?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so new coat of paint, great song, but it's not my favorite on there. Shiver Me Timbers. I think it's a great song. Bette Midler does a really killer version of that.
Oh my
Um,
God. Now that you said that, that sent me chills. That's where I felt like, where have I heard this before?
yeah,
In a
yeah,
different form.
yeah.
Bette Midler. I'm going to write that down. Okay.
A lot of people have covered his stuff, and that you wouldn't think of covering his stuff.
But there
But
was a female voice in my head, and there was something with the vibrato and a certain note that hit me that I'm like, that's a female. That's not, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably the Bette Midler thing. Yeah,
Okay.
Heart of Saturday Night. I think is to me that just really it captures Saturday Night. Sean Colvin does a great cover of that too. There's a lot of people have covered that, but I think Sean Colvin does one of the best covers of that. Number two is going to come in as with Diamonds on My Windshield, which a lot of people look at as being kind of proto hip hop. It's kind of jazzy. It's not as it's more beat inspired than it is say R&B inspired, but I mean that thing really just kind of cranks along, and it's funny, and it's great images, and just a great. I think it's a great song, and he did a great. To hear him do that live, it's just amazing. Just only using his finger to,
The fact
to do
that
that.
like you have that in your memory, but I'm so jealous. Like I said, there was something familiar about the music that you just snapped your fingers, and it literally brought me back to sixth grade with Mr. Blair right there. I'm
Okay.
not joking.
Well,
Like, okay, I
I'm glad
got
we can take you all the way back to sixth grade. Basically, I'm talking about when I was 22. So I'm glad I could take you back to sixth grade. Um, and
that's
and number one, this may be a little controversial amongst us, but San Diego Serenade to me is just it tears your heart out. It, uh, I think every time I listen to that, it never fails to just pierce me right through the heart. It's such a uh, you know and I screwed up song, and this is what I lost song. Um, and yeah, so that would be my top five, and I'm really interested in hearing what you guys are going to say.
Yeah. Like I said, these are gonna be very different, and I was not wrong so far. So, yeah.
no, you wrong because we a little bit more alike on some levels. So
Okay.
you wrong.
Uh,
We're
we'll
right.
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, I had two honorable mentions for this album. Uh, I'm not gonna spend much time on them, but the first was San Diego Serenade because I think it was the first. It's the second track on this album, and I'm pretty sure it's the first thing I put on my. I know it's the first one I put on my list because I'm just like, I could dig this song. It's just not one of the songs I can listen to over and over again.
Yep.
And then the other honorable mention was "Please Call Me Baby" because
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good love, like a good love song. But
Yep.
my number five was "Shiver Me Timbers" because that's when this album really started to like kind of hit home for me. That song was fun as shit, so I had to put it on my list.
Yep.
Next three weren't mentioned yet, so that's the awesome part. Number four was Depot Depot. Like
Okay.
that was a really fun song. Like the tempo in it was really like fast and had me like kind of like nod my head along with it. I'm like, all right, I could dig this. I could dig
Yep.
this. My number three, not just for the title, but for the song itself too. It was "Drunk on the Moon" because I love
Yep.
the title made me laugh as soon as I saw it, but the bass and the trumpet breakdown towards the end, like I feel like a minute away from the end, is incredible. I'm a sucker for trumpets, saxophones. I'm a sucker for any of that in songs if it's done right, and that song nailed it. So I freaking that song made it to my like list. I'm pretty sure. Uh, And I mean, it brought back, made me think of Futurama for a second too, so that made me laugh. But my number two was Fumbling with the Blues,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
as much as my previous co-host Chancey would hate to admit it, I do like the blues to some degree, and not the old freaking crap he brings on, but Fumbling with the Blues was a good blues track, and I enjoyed, I like blues that's rocky and catchy, like not just like
Right.
like
You
no.
don't like the true blues.
Uh-oh.
I like
This
I like
this
new
this could go off the rails real quickly here.
I
We'll
like
keep
the
it in the rails because today we got a time limit.
I like the new improved blues, so boohoo. But and my number one song, and you mentioned it, but my number one song is definitely "Diamonds My Windshield."
Yeah.
The groovy beat throughout that whole song, and you said what you said. Like a lot of people see that as like the beginning of like a kind of the beginning of hip hop, and I'm like, I was thinking about what you said. I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. That could definitely be a precursor to hip hop in some ways. I mean, '74.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Run DMC and a couple others were just getting started back then.
Yeah.
So I
Right
mean,
about that
it could
time. Yeah.
definitely be it could be a precursor to hip hop. So yeah, I could see that. So yeah, I mean those are my top seven technically, but top
Yeah.
five.
Well, I'm glad you picked up on the trumpet. Just a little side note here. The guy playing trumpet on that is the guy who, this is again before both of your times. This is unfortunately one of the things that when you get older, all your illusions are to people who weren't even born when these things happen. But the trumpet player on there was the trumpet player from the Tonight Show band, a guy named Jack
Oh,
Sheldon. And he was really, I mean, Johnny Carson used to fool around with him all the time, joke around with him. He was but he was like the go-to LA guy for jazz trumpet. And he teamed up with Waits for this album. So that's why the trumpet sounds so good.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it was phenomenally done. But Jaimie, what were your top five?
Okay, so you guys both brought up. He brought up two. John brought up two. You brought up, or no, three actually, and you brought up one. So I was actually Jeremy until I get to my number two. Thank you for that. But my number, I didn't at first have a top five. I tossed and turned on a couple songs. So in the end, I did say number five is New Coat of Paint.
Okay.
And I didn't have very many notes on this because I had too much feeling towards some of them and too much to try to fumble around and say and relate to. So I kept it simple. So my number four is Fumbling with the Blues. Number three, also my number two, there's some really, really cute older gentlemen in New Orleans that made my 20-some-year-old self feel so sweet and so appreciative for stuff. Semi Sweet for number three brought me back to
Wow.
that moment. It brought me back to that. Just something with the Southern gentleman and just the fun, the just lightness of it. Depot was my number two, and I'm glad that Jeremy agrees on that. Because, like you said, Jeremy, that could have been the early Run DMC, other things that were beginning to come out. That to me felt like the Depot train stop of music's about to become something else. And we feel that, we appreciate that, but we still feel a certain way. So Depot to me had a, I'm appreciating that back then and my feelings then, but the about to be. So there was that transition feeling for that for me. But my number one, and I wrote it in a really, really funny way at first because I had how it made me feel, is San Diego. Had similar feelings to you, but San Diego for me just ended up making me feel something comfortable. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's because that is one of my favorite songs. I think we covered just about every song.
About
Between the
yeah.
three of
Probably
us.
wasn't hard for that album, but I
Yeah,
agree. Like, we probably did.
yeah, pretty close to it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we
yeah.
definitely
Looking at it, I think we get everything but the Ghost of Saturday Night. I think we covered, which is
Yeah, both
uh
pretty.
songs for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we actually you're 100% right. We didn't hit the closing track, which I wasn't amazed by the closing track.
Yeah,
Either track was Saturday Night, and it did amaze me honestly, but
yeah.
I felt it was, I don't know, it was maybe too bluesy. I don't know. I couldn't
Ironically,
describe why.
that would be my least favorite cut on this record. So if we have to leave out one, it might as well be that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Jaimie,
that brings us.
glad to hear you liked San Diego Serenade. That is one of my all-time favorite songs. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Tom Waits is definitely somebody that somebody if somebody else wants to bring on another album he did, I would not turn down, even if it's the post 2000s possible train wreck music.
That's right.
But
Yeah, you may be in for a surprise, but
oh, I've had
yeah,
plenty of surprises on this show,
yeah.
mainly from my former co-host. But yeah, a lot of train wrecks.
He had a lot more shocking moments than myself. I like that.
Okay. And could I
Uh,
just interject something real quickly here, just as we're going through interesting where these artists were, all three of them in 1974. You got Waits just starting out. This is like his second album. He wrote his first album was called Closing Time, and what came off of that was Old 55, the song that the Eagles did way back, um, in prehistory. But you got Bowie, who is in between personalities.
Yeah, that was before he went
Before he became before he
he
became
was
the
going.
White Tooth. I'm sorry.
This was his last glam rock album. That's his last.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
This is his
So
last glam rock album. Yeah,
so
and
you got Bowie, who's kind of going through a big change here, and Elton is, even though Elton has a difficult time writing a bad song, but you can tell that they've been on the road for too long in this album.
actually, well, I'll talk more about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
and ironically enough, this is both Elton and Bowie's 8th albums.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's their 8th albums, and they both were at changing points in their career majorly. So
Yep.
it's, but well, since John kind of gave it away, but not really because there's two of us, so you don't know who's who. But I guess it's time to jump to my album because I looked at 74, and honestly, I didn't find too many albums I would want to bring. I couldn't find that many. I'm digging through the list like for a long time, going through many months of it, and I'm like, I just don't see anybody I would want to bring 74. I think there was one or two other options I already brought, and I'm like, I can't bring them again. And a couple options where I'm like, I like this artist, but I don't recognize one song on this album, so I'm not going to bring us. I need at least one song to go with, usually.
Yeah.
So, but I get down to I think it was October, November, and I'm like Elton John Caribou. I'm like Elton John's Caribou. I'm like, let's look at the track list, and I'm like, 3 songs I instantly recognize on this album, and I'm like, and I see one song, I'm like, oh, this is the album.
Like
This
we
is the
fucking
album.
with this one, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the album, and it's funny you said that about like Elton and him doing too much touring before he did this album because you're half right. You're half right because this album was a record label thing where it had to be out by a certain time, and they were about to go on a tour that they had to go on, I believe, in I want to say Japan, but they were about to go on a tour they had to go on. So this album was very rushed of just
Yeah.
different songs he wrote that didn't really go together, but he just kind of threw it together to make the record label happy. And they recorded, I think, over like a month, not even a month's time. Like it was
Yeah, it
really
was a pretty short period of time.
rush recording, and but yet it's spawned some of his biggest hits, and that's the great thing. So, I mean, yeah, I brought Elton John's Caribou because it's the one song every time it comes up in my like list on Spotify, I see Caribou as the album, and I'm like, one of these days I gotta bring that album on the show, and that day just finally freaking came. So I'm like, all right, it's time. It's time finally. I'm like, I haven't brought Elton in a hot minute, so I'm like, I could definitely bring him again. I think I brought his first album at one point. I know I did, and that was a disappointment away. But I brought his first album. It had its moments, but it's a disappointment a lot of it. But and I think actually that might be the only album I ever brought of his was his first album. Oh no, I did bring Yellow Brick
Yellow
Road.
Brick Road. Yeah.
I brought y'all Brick Road a long time ago. So yeah, I almost forgot about that one. But yeah, so this is the third album of his I brought, and I mean, there's plenty more to hit, folks. So don't worry, I'll get them again eventually when we hit a year. He releases another album I haven't brought, but yeah, I want to bring Caribou because I think it's really well done, and I love Elton John. I freaking love Elton John. He's one of the best musicians of all time, and he,
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, he spanned generations. And for those who haven't seen the movie Rocket Man, go freaking watch it because oh my god,
Yeah.
his life, his life is
We
another.
will talk the movie another flipping time.
I wasn't gonna say a goddamn thing about the movie after that point, but
You did just now. You saw Rocket Man. Shut up.
I'm just saying, if you haven't seen it. But
you can pass it too. I'm just saying, as the co-host, people listening, watching, you can pass it too. Pass it.
I shall pass in a second, so calm your damn self. Get your panties out of a bunch. But yeah,
Yikes.
Elton's a god. But I'm dying to hear what you think of this album, John.
As I said earlier, I think Elton has a difficult time writing a bad song. You know, he there's some definitely some misses on here, but the thing that popped out at me first was just how good that band was. That band was just amazing. The playing, I mean, you can tell that they're a real road trained band, that they've done these songs, you know, many times. And when they're in the studio, they just play this. The band is so tight. They make everything sound great. Even the songs that aren't in my top five, Elton's voice still sounds amazing. I mean, his voice is you're right. It's like a he's one of the, you know, great vocalists of all rock music. He has that ability to you know, I mean, in terms of white soul, I mean, he's got the mark cornered on that. He really does. And melody wise, you know, the melody, he's got that McCartney thing where the melodies just kind of flow out of him, even if it's sometimes I think the lyrics don't live up to what his melodies are doing. When the two of them, you know, Toppin and he, you know, mesh together when they do it together, which they do several times on this album. It is, I mean, it's just, they're just great songs. And, you know, does any album open better than this album?
Nope. You
know, so.
Well, okay. There's a band called Lordy that is very famous for having amazing opening tracks to their albums because they freaking like launch you into a adrenaline filledness. But yes, and not Lordy, but yeah, you're right. This album opened up fucking incredible, and I'll get into that later. But
yeah. So you know, just a great album. Just a great album.
Well, speaking of the album opener, Jaimie, what did you think of this album?
All right,
After
sorry.
After you get done talking to your spy watch.
Listen, I'm Inspector Gadget or a goddamn Power Ranger, okay? Woo!
As long as you're the Pink Ranger.
Okay, so this album, seeing what you chose at first, I'm like, listen, it's Elton John. I'm cool with that. Always cool with that. But how many bangers are on this album? Okay, I'm okay with this. I'm way okay with it. It was an enjoyable listen. I'm very glad at as many 70s stuff we've been picking up lately and everything, Jeremy. I have to say, like throwing an Elton in there, like you were saying, John, there's something about how he can do melodies, and like when Diana died, like boom, he had a song. Like I can't with you. I can, but I can't. Like I love that talent. I am envious of that talent, but I am here for that talent. So I gave him a 3 out of 5 stars. This album, I feel like I probably could have given him a 4 out of 5, and I'm probably going between both, but it was a great choice album. So good job, Jeremy.
Yay, cookie for me. But
I didn't rate that, so I would give that a 4. This album a 4.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually forgot to rate it too. I mean, it's a solid 4.3 for me. It has to be. It's a 4.3. I don't want to give it a 4.5 because it's not quite Yellow Brick Road or one of his well-known albums, but it's definitely up there. Like with his, it's better than his first album. I mean, if you want to hear you want to hear an album where he misses a lot, listen to his first album. My God, but I some of the songs have grown on me over time. But Jesus, it's scary. I don't think there's one hit of his on his first album. I think it was just he didn't get big to a second or third. But I mean, I'm pretty sure Queen was the same thing. So I mean, it's not like nobody's first album is ever perfect usually. But and Jaimie may kill me for this, but I do have 5 honorable mentions for Elton because it's Elton fucking John, and you can't miss on that.
Of course. Let's
I,
throw
I,
in.
I could have pulled the Jeremy.
Watch me yelling at him. It's about the fact that he doesn't understand honorable mentions. Mentions are maybe 1, 2, maybe 3. It's like half the other album. So just buckle up. Just buckle up.
I could have pulled the Jeremy on this album and rated the whole fucking thing. Honestly, I could have, but I didn't want to.
Okay,
So
but I'm not mad at you for that. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay. I'm okay with this.
I mean, my first album, my first 2 honorable mentions are Dixie Lily and Grimsby because they're just fun songs. I mean, there's nothing special about them. They're just really fun songs, and the way he says Grimsby made me laugh every time he says it. But my next honorable mention was You're So Static. It's another like the honorable mentions are just fun fucking songs. Oh, okay. Well, those 3 are. Next honorable mention is one of his most famous songs by any means, and I did not expect it to be on this album, but it just happened to be. And on the bonus, it was a bonus on the deluxe version of it. But "Step Into Christmas" is always been one of my favorite Christmas carols. So in a way, I mean, and it's just such a fun Christmas song. Like he does it so well. It's not overplayed like so many other Christmas songs are. So, and then, my last one I mentioned, I kind of was surprised it got this low. The fact this song went this low kind of surprised the fucking shit out of me. But just, things happen. But my last one I'll mention is "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" because I fucking love it. It's one of his best songs of all time, but it's true soul. Like you said white soul. That's true white soul right there. Yeah. And I mean, I forget where he was in '74 with like his battle with alcohol and other miscellaneous drugs, but he was I think he was towards either near the end of it or he was coming out of it. I forget which it was in '74, but you could definitely hear like that in this song. You could hear that in this song if you really listen to the lyrics. But I think he also felt like he was somehow failing as an artist. I don't see how that's possible, but people have issues sometimes with their self-esteem. My top 5, though, a lot of these surprised me because I never heard of these songs and they blew me away. The number 5 song, I think it's near the end of the album, but "Ticking." The fact that Elton John wrote a song about school shootings in the fucking '74 before it was even like a real problem in America at that point, or England. I mean, it's not even a problem in England now, I don't think. And he still wrote a song about it. So, I mean, bully. I mean, it reminded me of Stephen King's. I can't think of the name. Rage. It reminded me of Stephen King's Rage, like a book that actually is banned because it's about that. And my number 4 was "Sick City" because I never heard that one either, but it was very well done and it was really catchy. I found myself like singing along to it at one point. And then my number 3 is the last kind of new one to me, but as a paranormal podcaster as well, I've seen the saucers is fucking. I never knew Elton John did a song about aliens or UFOs. Oh my god, that blew my mind. That blew my fucking mind. I was like, oh my god, he did a song about UFOs? No fucking way. But it made me think, like, did he actually have a UFO experience? Like, and he's just singing about it? Like, I want details.
I'm here for it if he did, and I kind of feel like he was trying to tell us that with the magazines and the fucking boots and all sorts of stuff. So he had stuff to say, Jeremy. He really did.
I mean, either he's seen them, either he actually had a UFO experience or this is a drug trip. I don't fucking know. But either way, I'm down for it.
Oh my god, me too. We're both here for it. Let's go.
My top two are songs everybody knows, but they had to be the top two. Number two was Pinball Wizard because it's just such an amazing journey of a song. If you're a fan of The Who, which I'm really not, but I do like Tommy the Musical. So Pinball Wizard's fucking classic. And my number one had to fucking be the song that opens up Rocket Man and does the best opening scene in the movie I've seen in a long time. The Bitch is Back, because it's just, oh my god, it's classic. And it's such Elton John like vibes. Like he was the bitch. Like he could be. He was allowed to be because of who he is. So it's there's a scene in Will and Grace where he plays the head of the gay mafia and he's threatening Will because he's doing something wrong. And then like they're in a coffee shop and he says to him before he leaves, he's like, "This bitch won't be back." And then he comes back in because he forgot something. He's like, "The bitch is back."
That's like nowadays Theory of a Dead Man. The bitch came back the very next day. Oh, the bitch came back. Like for real, that was back then. That was exactly the vibe I had. Exactly.
But I mean,
Thank you for hitting it, Jaimie.
I love this song. I mean, I watched his supposedly farewell concert that he did in Disney Plus for Christmas a couple years ago, and when he did The Bitch is Back, even in his 70s, he still fucking rocks that song like nothing else. So
I'll never forget for my 30th birthday, my cousin and a few other people paid for me to get up on stage. I had no idea, and that is the exact song they played, and I never felt so validated in my life.
This was at an Elton John concert?
No, it was the Dueling Piano Bar in my local capital. I'm from Iowa.
Oh, okay.
So Des Moines, Iowa finally got what everybody else was doing because we're way behind times here. And the Dueling Piano Bar was a lot of fun, and I didn't expect that, and that made me giggle so hard. They had no idea like the fun I had with that. But like between Elton John and Billy Joel that night, my night was made. So that song is the best, Jaimie. For real.
I mean, just the opening of that song, just the freaking guitar piano, like in the beginning of that song, like it's the band is, oh my god,
right.
There's only one Elton John song in my mind that truly stands above that song, and that is "I'm Still Standing," because it's just such a hearing the monkey and sing that freaking always makes me smile. But John, what were your top five for Elton?
Well, I didn't do the bonus tracks, so let me obviously throw in a honorable mention for Pinball Wizard. I love his version of Pinball Wizard. That is just another killer song that he. I mean, as it is, and then he does. I mean, he's the perfect guy to do that song. He just sings the hell out of it, and it's just a great rock tune. So on listening to this, this may be funny to you, Jaimie. I pulled out Stinker because I thought it was a good example of Elton doing the blues. I mean, like this guy can actually play the blues, and this will please you. It's modern blues. It's not like Delta blues. It's like it's like a guy in the early 70s playing the blues, and he plays it pretty damn well. He's a very good piano player. Just as a I mean, in terms of even like he's got that real fast intensity stuff down as good as anybody. But this was, he gets into some subtle stuff with that, and so I think he does a good job on that. That's a great tune.
I will say, if I did rank the whole album, Stinker would have definitely been a little high because I did enjoy that song to some degree. Just it wasn't the Elton I truly love. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it to some degree, but Stinker was just one of those songs. It was like 5 or 6 songs in a row that I fucking dug the shit out of. And then Stinker came out, I was like, this is mid. This is mid.
Yeah, that's absolutely a lot depends on the order you listen to songs in. There's no question about that. So next up for me, this may sound like but Pinky is to me was like almost the sibling of Mona Lisa and Mad Hatters. When I was talking before about when Bernie Taupin and Elton synced up. This one they didn't sync up completely on. It just kind of went off the rails a couple of times, but still, Elton's got some great, vocal tricks that he uses in there. It's got a great melody. In fact, it surprised me. I haven't heard that song probably in 40 years. And it was like, oh, okay, that's a pretty decent song.
It was a fun song. I'm not going to disagree.
Next up after that, Don't Let the Sun Go Down. I think, what you talked about before, there's definitely, I think he gets a little bit more into that desperation period on the next album where he does Someone Saved My Life Tonight. Is that the next album?
I love that song, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think to me that's really like the bottom. He's bottoming out, but he's sliding into the bottom here on "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." It's got that. To me, it does not have as much desperation as "Someone Saved My Life Tonight," but it's still a real heart tugger.
Someone Saved My Life Tonight. Oh my God, there was a time like 15 years ago when I was still a single guy and I was shit-faced one night after work, and I was just, that song came on, like whatever the hell I was listening to at that point, and every time he's like Sugar Bear, like I would start singing it with him. It was like, it still makes me laugh thinking about it, because I'm like, who the fuck is Sugar Bear? I want to know who Sugar Bear is. Is that your husband now? Like,
ain't no Sugar Bear from Honey Boo Boo, so we ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, well, he's I mean, he inhabits that song. I mean, that's like the ghost of Elton lives in that song. Second one was the one that you picked out there, Jeremy. Ticking. Again, a song I have not heard in a long, long time. A couple of things going on there. One, obviously, the thing about he's writing about school shootings in 1974, or Bernie Taupin is helping him write about school shootings in 1974.
Yeah.
The other thing is his piano playing on that is ridiculous. He is right out there. Elton doesn't, he's a great piano player, but he does not take it out, into these sort of directions that are harmonically. I always think of him as a real harmonic piano player, that he plays, just beautifully behind what the song is doing. He's got the piano in kind of conflict with what the song is about, and it creates that sense of tension in the song that really goes along with what the song is all about. This song is about somebody going a little nuts, and the piano starts driving you nuts. If you listen to it, I don't know if you listen to it on headphones, but the piano started to drive me a little bit nuts.
Yes, John. I'm going to interrupt. Yes, thank you. There was something about, I'm like, gosh darn it, stop it, but keep going. Gosh darn it. Yes.
You sound like my wife, Jaimie, but I couldn't think of how to describe it. I couldn't think of how to describe it when you said tension. I was like, that's what it is.
No, but
it makes
you like sit up more, like, I'm sorry, I don't have my camera on right now, but like I just sat up more straight in my seat. Like, it's not a joke. There's something about, like, wait a minute. Thank you for saying it just like that, John. I could not put words to what I was hearing with that. That's my honorable mention. So thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. He and I think he did that on purpose, though. I think it's supposed to build tension.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he really, that's that had to have been intentional for what he was doing.
Absolutely.
So props to him for doing that. I know we're all going to come in. Well, maybe not all. We have to wait to see what you say, Jaimie. But the bitch is back. I mean, as soon as that thing opens up, it's like, this is what rock music is all about. You can feel your heart start to beat faster. You can feel that sense of excitement. The band just sounds so good there. I mean, they're so tight. I mean, what was the guitar player's name? It was Davy Johnson. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, that guitar playing, and it's so on the money. He doesn't miss anything on that guitar part. And then, Elton's voice is just, amazing. So that would be on my list, even if we weren't doing these three albums tonight. Like if we're doing like the history of rock music, if I had to pick out a couple of tunes that would immediately start to get my heart rate elevated, that would definitely be on the list. So so that's that comes sliding in at number one.
It's and I almost feel like that's how he opened concerts for a long time was with that song. I almost feel like that's the way he had open concerts for a long time. That's such an
Well,
opener. That's such an
yeah,
opener.
it
Gets
is.
the crowd
It is.
pumping.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. That probably would not work as well as an encore. There's just something about the way that opens up that it just lifts the lid right off.
I feel like I agree with that, but it's like an encore to the encore. That would be that song. I feel like Stinker is
It'd
that
be
one
ironic.
to
It'd
make
be
you go,
ironic.
wait a minute, and get you
Yeah.
into the bitch's back.
I mean, and I find it amazing. Like if you look at him and Freddie Mercury, like two of the most prolific homosexuals in music industry.
But if I could have
And
heard them together, like right meow, oh girl.
I mean, but the fact that they both like date women for a long time to try to hide it, like it blows my mind. Like I'm like, especially Elton, because like he was very obviously like there's this on the Johnny Cash show, him and what the fuck's his name? This very I forget his name, but this very Republicanish, like conservative singer. Oh, him and not Johnny Cash. Who the fuck was it? Was it Cash? Him and some other artists, like on the Johnny Cash show, they are not Johnny Carson. Tonight Show Johnny Carson. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They switch wardrobe for the show, and like so, Elton actually looked as straight as he ever could look, and the other artist like was wearing Elton's like frills and everything, and he looked like freaking. I want to say it was Johnny Cash, but I can't think of who it actually would be. Like
I think Johnny Cash would have that sense of humor. Yeah.
it was, but like they didn't tell Johnny Carson they were doing it, and they just did it before the show, like right before the show went on air. And like he came out wearing Elton's things, and like I've seen the reel of it. It's priceless. Like it's priceless. Johnny Carson's reaction to it, like it's. I mean, Elton. I always say I was born a couple decades too late, and people like Elton are the reason why I think I was, because I would have freaking been in love with his music as a teenager if I grew up in the '70s, or if I was a teenager in the '70s, I would have been in love with his music. So it's just he's a god. He really is a god, and thank God he's still alive. I mean, one of the few greats that's still with us. So I mean, you better not take him. You better not take him.
Play at Disney World. Woo! It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
But Jaimie, before your top five, got Della. Thank you for sharing this out. Always appreciate it. Jaimie, your top five, you don't mind?
My top five coming after Della here, honey. Thank you for that. Okay, I don't have very many notes because I could go on for way too damn long. I don't have an honorable mention. My problem is that when I got to my number one, I have two number ones. So we're gonna start with number five. It's a Cold Highway, along with number four, making me like listen, like it brings the stinker out in me. There was something inviting about that song that like starting that out one, two, maybe no further than song number three in a concert. I feel like it has to be song number one or two. Will get you feeling and ready to rev and go for Elton in concert, because then you follow up not just with my top three or technically top four. You got number three, Pinball Wizard. That man, the fact that he can, like you said, John, for my honorable mention, which was within your top five. My problem is that conflict of what he was doing musically and vocally and emotionally. For someone that was not super musically inclined, but very musically motivated, very musically like excited and everything. That got me going to hear that clash, to know how hard it is to be a musician and sing and play at the same time. That is a whole nother level on top of Elton's like his quickness, but his genuine talent. So Pinball Wizard, he had fun with that. I like it. Of course, number two is Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. I think everybody can agree with that. That is a great song, makes you feel good, makes you feel like you can do it, you will freaking do it, and it's gonna be every day is gonna be different, and we got this. So that's what led
I
me into what's up.
I gotta say, I just saw this, but he should have put fucking "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" in Lion King.
Yes. Yes, okay, I'll get that. I'll get that. Like, don't let it go down on me for what's going on. I get that. So I like that. For the fact that everybody knows he's a part of Lion King though, and then did this song. The fact that my number one is You're So Static and The Bitch Is Back. Those two together, I feel like bring together me with Elton John, me and my goals with him and the music talent and what I'm aiming for, what he makes me feel out of his music. I don't have specific notes because I could go on forever, but this man is goddamn, sorry for my language, people out there. He is flipping so beyond talented. If I could ever meet him, see him, whatever, I probably do the whole I'm not worthy stuff. He's an amazing guy. So thank you, Jeremy, for bringing this on.
Oh, if I there are very few men in this world that I would ever say I would go homo for.
Oh yeah, well,
Elton John,
always be one
Elton
of them.
John, get
I
get
have
get your.
amazing glasses, but nothing compared to Elton John.
I
Nothing
mean,
compared.
Elton John, get your 75-year-old ass over here. I would go homo for you. Like Jesus fucking Christ, it'd be an honor. It'd be an honor.
Let
But
me hello.
I mean,
Oh
and if
man.
him and Freddie Mercury, if they're still alive. If Freddie Mercury's still alive, it'd be him too. But
Absolutely.
because I almost picked Freddie Mercury for our episode next Tuesday. I almost picked Queen, but
Woo!
a better album popped up and I had to go with it. But I almost picked Queen. Fuck the album with the Easter Island head in the top. I can't think of what
I
it's called
almost picked it too, so I got you.
because I keep thinking of the Family Guy episode where Stewie's scared by it, like by the cover.
His big old
But
buggy eyes. Yep, I got you.
well, because Seth, and actually it's funny because Seth MacFarlane wrote that because he was scared of that album cover as a kid
Because he
too.
grew up in
But
that. He grew up in that. He knows exactly what that was.
News of the World. That's the name of the album, News of the World.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
I because we're doing a 77 episode next Tuesday, and I almost picked that. But I think it's 77 at least. I could be wrong.
You know what's great is to hear you guys talk about this music that you weren't even born for, and to hear you appreciating it so much. I mean, it does my heart good too, because a lot of times when you know the music you grow up on, there's this whole Daniel Levitin, the guy who's a musicologist, wrote about why we like certain music when we're young, because we connect it with memories that we have when we're young, and you know, we're falling in love, and you know, so songs get associated with a whole bunch of different things, and those become really powerful songs in our lives because we associate them with people and emotions and stuff like that. So, and I grew up, you know, this was stuff that I grew up with. So to hear you guys, you know, talking about, you know, Elton John this way, you know, just it makes my heart to, you know,
You
feel good.
say that, though, but my father and mother had me. They were born in 5260, so they loved all, and still to this day love all music. I grew up on everything, so my memories start because of the music, not the
Yeah.
memories tied to the music. It's the memories because of the music
Well,
specifically.
there you go. There you go.
I mean,
So
well,
bravo, Dad, on
I,
that one. Good job, Papo.
yep. I mean, Elton John, I got love for because my dad had a car repair shop slash used car lot slash church rent a car, and he had a lot going on. I was managing like at a young age, but he had a 60 CD changer as his stereo system at the business.
An
So
8-track player.
60 CD player.
I'm just giving you shit.
No, I mean, I'm sure he had 8 tracks. I wouldn't doubt it, but um, he and a lot of my music taste from the oldies comes from him, and he had an Elton John greatest hits in there that played. I used to go to his office and hit that or Dave Matthews Crash like all the time because those were my favorite albums that he listened to. But and Elton John's greatest hits, which none of these songs off this album are on his greatest hits, I will say. Well, okay,
Is
maybe
that
Don't Let the
right?
Sun. Maybe Don't Let the
Oh,
Sun, but I don't
the
think the
bitch is
bitches back
back
was
is
on
not
it.
on his.
I didn't
Wow.
hear the bitches.
I
I didn't
don't
hear the
know.
bitches.
I think that's like an LP extra, if I remember right. But
Yeah.
Don't Let the Sun Go Down to Me is the only one that's usually on
Well,
his
no.
greatest hits, if I saw right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the bitches back is. I think it just wasn't. I think it just was too
Nowadays, if
risque.
we were to do a greatest hits, we would include that. But I don't think that's what it was like back in the 90s.
Yeah, in the '90s, I think it was too risque. I don't think they would have
Yeah,
put it on an
yeah, it was it
album.
was it was just not the
Because I
best, yeah,
mean,
back then. But
we're
anyways, go on.
we're talking about like '90s when like they used to have all the commercials for the greatest hits on TV, and they couldn't like have the bitches back playing on TV.
Yeah, yeah,
But
right, exactly. They
but I
blurred that
mean,
out.
see, my mom wasn't much into older. She didn't really listen to older music until I got older. But my dad listened to all this music, and that's why I fell in love with like '70s, '80s music because of my dad. And I mean, I literally, I literally in high school would make fun of kids and call them gay for listening to Queen because I didn't know who Queen was even at that point. I did. My dad didn't. Neither of my parents listened to them really. No one I knew really listened to Queen. So I would call kids gay for listening to Queen just because I knew Freddie Mercury was gay. Like I was an asshole in high school. I can't deny that. But I years later I fell in love with his music and I was like, oh my god, how could I ever have thought this way about people that liked him? Like they were ahead of me by years in maturity level for liking his music. So shit. Like I realize my mistakes now, but I was an asshole in high school for shit like that. But Jaimie, let's finish this out with the last album of the night. What album did you want to bring, and why this one?
Why? Okay, so many reasons why. I could have dug into like a dark rabbit hole of everything for this man. Um Honestly, I'm a photographer and I've loved music for years. Samantha Knight, if you ever listen to me, Laser 103.3, she just retired not too long ago. She moved on to another area. She's an amazing, amazing radio host. And she got me into music. And David Bowie was one that I got interested in, but I got really interested in him after a photography book that I was into and just hearing about him and his health and some of the things he went through, bullying, his dilated eye, all of that. And Diamond Dogs, there was no rhyme or reason why I chose that other than the year, but I chose it also not only because I'm a fan of his, but I'm a fan of Michael C. Hall. Now, I hope you all out there are listening understand that I am a Dexter fan, honey. He is amazing. That actor, Michael, does the best cover ever of David Bowie that I've ever heard. And I get entranced when I hear him. So as soon as I saw 1974, I went through the list. I passed up Queen, like Jeremy said, saw David Bowie. That's exactly where I pointed. So David Bowie, Diamond Dogs, the remastered 2016 was something I went for. I don't care what version you went for, but that is my choice, folks.
And John, what did you think of Bowie's Diamond
Um,
Dogs?
I think this is kind of an erratic album of Bowie's for me. He obviously is going through a transition. I would give it like a three. I don't know, like a 3.7, 3.8. I think that there are. I think, especially compared to Elton, which Elton's in Caribou, which sounds very open. And another thing about this one is Bowie played virtually all the instruments on this. I don't know. Did you read the liner notes on this? He plays the guitar on what the hell is the song that he plays the guitar on that you
I
would never
knew that
imagine.
much, but I thought he did a little bit more, or maybe at least he had a huge saying or feeling in the synthesizing and other stuff like that.
Yeah, no, he played a bunch of stuff on this, but he Rebel Rebel. He plays the guitar. I didn't
Yes.
realize he could play the guitar that well.
Woo!
You know,
Yes.
going back to because he doesn't take the opportunity to show that off very often. it as with a lot of Bowie stuff, the songs kind of confront you. I mean, you really have to. They're not songs like you listen to and think, "Oh, that would be a great song to dance to." You know, I mean,
No.
there's some of that on here, but most of them you really kind of have to listen to a couple times, think through them before they can start to sink in. So, I would give it. You know, since I think it is a transition album. There's so many different influences that are going on here. You can hear the Stones on here. You can hear Miles Davis on here and some of the trumpet stuff.
Yes.
You know, it just the gospel influence on Rock and Roll with Me, which I really like.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that I'm not going to give this away just yet, but that's going to be very high in my list of tunes on here. So yeah, I would give it a 3.8 because he comes. We're one album away from pretty much a complete change, and with the sound that I really like. To me, this is real. That's when Bowie in '75 is when he really hit his stride.
Yeah, I see. I never really got into Bowie until this show, until someone brought the first Bowie album, this show that we had, and of course that was Ziggy Stardust, Inspired from Mars, because why the fuck wouldn't it be? And so that's the only thing of Bowie's besides like other certain songs I have really to compare this to, like the only album I have to compare to. So compared to that album, this album is not nowhere near. No, but I did a little reading into this album because I wanted to know what the hell Bowie I was dealing with, and apparently there were like 3 different projects he was working on, and he just kind of combined them all into this album. I mean, he was trying to write like a Ziggy Stardust musical that never happened, and two of the songs came on this album, and both of them were on my top 5. And apparently he was also trying to make an adaptation of George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah, he couldn't get the rights. Yeah,
because George Orwell's wife wouldn't give up the rights, and no one could use them until after she died, and she died like I think like 10 or 15 years after this was written, after he did this album. So he couldn't get the rights until she died, and it was too late at that point for him to want to do it. But I have really mixed feelings about this album. I definitely found easily a top 5 with a couple of mentions, but I mean, it's Bowie. I can't hate on Bowie ever. He's incredible, and the artwork he had done for this album cover is disturbing to no degree. Like it's just like he literally told the artist, "Paint me as if I was half dog," and the artist fucking read the assignment. So he understood the assignment 100%. So I mean, the album cover, I couldn't take my eyes off the album cover the whole fucking that time I was listening to it. But
nailed it.
I mean, it's the whole album is weird. It's 3. You can tell it's 3 different things thrown together. The album is basically 3 different parts, but it's Bowie, so it kind of makes sense in a way. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I can't say it's not Ziggy Stardust, no fucking way in hell, but it's Bowie, and it's his last glam rock album, so I definitely like glam rock Bowie a lot more than I like modern rock Bowie. So I will take him any day. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, honestly, it'd be halfway because it's halfway to an album. That's what it seems like. It's halfway to an actual album, but he just couldn't make his mind up. And the fact that him and Elton were both in their 8th album for this episode kind of like made me giggle in a way because it's like that's ironic. I didn't see that coming. But the fact that by 74 they both had 8 albums was freaking ridiculous. So yeah,
it's interesting. I think one of the differences between Bowie and Elton is that Elton is I think that they both share the sort of just the natural ability to do this. You know, that they don't have to. They were born with an incredible gift, and which a lot of people, most people, 99.9, figure out whatever percentage there, 99.99% of people don't have. Bowie also has another thing going on at the same time, in that he's an artiste, and which I don't think Elton would ever take that seriously, that he's an artiste. He's an artist, but he's not an artiste. And Bowie is a very, very
I
smart guy.
I 100% hear what you're saying, and to me, Bowie is an early Marilyn Manson, and that's kind of where I love him because he's Marilyn Manson took a lot of inspiration from Bowie, and you could
Always
tell.
thought outside of the box, period. Whether anybody
Yeah.
else did or not.
Yeah. But have you ever seen the interview with Bowie talking about what he thought the internet was going to do?
Yes. And there was something about his mannerisms with his mouth and his eyes that made me think, okay, he's on to something, but I'm going to take a step back for a minute.
Yeah. Well,
I can't say I'm familiar with it, but I'm going to Google it tomorrow now.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
really
watch
good,
it.
actually.
He absolutely nailed it. This was like in, I don't know, 2002 or 2003, before any, just what this was going to do to us. And for all the good things that it does, like what we're doing right now, if we have a chance here to talk about music, there's a lot of
Bad.
a lot
There's
of
a lot of bad.
downsides to this as well too. So, but but I think I cut Bowie slack because I know it, like on this album, I know he's trying to work through things, and you can almost feel him trying to be born into something else. And I mean, there's grading in this album.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the fat little larva in the bug's life. I'm a
Right.
pretty butterfly.
Yeah.
That's
He's
basically Bowie in this.
he's not the butterfly yet. That's for sure.
But Young Americans, his next album definitely does it. But Jaimie, your album, what were your top 5?
Okay. So I had my number 5, Chant of the Ever Circling Skeletal Family.
Wow.
I love your smile on that, Jeremy. There was something.
It wasn't on my list because I didn't want to make my list huge for this one, but it was definitely different. It's
As
definitely
soon
different.
as I heard it, I'm like, it's a part of me. I gotta do it. I got to. So that's my number 5. But my number 4 is Diamond Dogs, the start of the album. There was something that it kind of opened up. I'm like, all right. I'm already open and susceptible to what he's got to give us and his talent, his vocals, his visuals, his everything. But Diamond Dogs kind of made me think, okay, what's going to go on here? And sorry, hold on.
Is that a diamond dog?
Oh, that is a diamond dog. Oh, he's got a diamond eyeball right now. He's a little fat potato. I love him. Anyways, number 3 after my diamond dog. Number 3 is Sweet Thing. There in there's my other diamond dog. In that song, there is something about Bowie's voice that it brings me back to one of the first times, probably not the very first time, because, like I said, I listened to a lot of music with my parents, but there was a very influential time in my high school years between freshman and sophomore year that we listened to a lot of this and other stuff. And his voice hit me in this song and brought me right back to that moment. And I actually reached out to one of my friends, and that was one of the songs he played quite a bit in his own acoustic version. So, Sweet Thing, there was something about that, and that was exactly what it was. So, I'm glad it's on my list. But number 2, Hot Tramp, I love you. Oh, I love you, you rebel, rebel. Absolutely. That is my number 2, Rebel, Rebel. Great time. The lyrics crack me up. The in between where Bowie was wanting to go and trying to figure out, and the Ziggy aspect of him is exactly where I felt like my number 1 dropped at, for me at least. My number 1 is We Are the Dead. There was something about that I'm like, I get it. I get it with him, and I'm here for it. He, like Jeremy said, has a Marilyn Manson feel. He is the back then days. If my old soul would have been actually alive back then, as my boyfriend from 1974 is walking right behind me right now. He he was alive back then, but it's just that it brings you back to that time where you're like, I love I love where he's coming from. I love where he's going. And the We Are the Dead kind of also gave me a familiar feeling to something culturally going on right. I haven't put my finger on it, but We Are the Dead just kind of hit me in a different way. So I was almost kind of surprised by that because it was actually Rebel Rebel that got me to choose this album, but We Are the Dead's my number one.
Interesting. Interesting.
That is an
What are
interesting.
your What are your top five, John? 'Cause my number
Well,
my number one's still unnamed. I'm kind of curious if it's stay that way.
So let me just preface this with a little comment that I forget who said this, that mediocre artists borrow, but great artists steal. And I think Bowie is a little bit of a thief on this, and he does it well. That it's okay that if he's trying to take things from other places, because what he's going to do is he's going to put them into his pot and shake them all up, and it's going to come out Bowie on the other end. And so that's why. So my choices are kind of based on what influences he's coming under when with these songs. So my number 5, I don't have any honorable mentions for this one. Number 5 is Big Brother, because there's a great bridge in that tune, and that the trumpets reminds me of Miles Davis. It just has that sort of Miles feel. If you guys remember, this is going to be before your time, but the movie Shaft, it's like he lifts the Shaft theme song for 1984. It's like right out of I'm surprised that nobody even checked him out and from a legal point of view on that, but it works. It's just he's got this and these are all things that are going to lead to something else. I mean, these are all feeding into 1975.
And I mean, John, all I can say that is shut your mouth.
I'm sorry?
Shut your mouth.
Okay, so number 3, Diamond Dogs. I love the Stones' influence on that. Just that sort of like really loose, just kind of real straight ahead rock and roll stuff. Rebel Rebel. As soon as you hear that guitar part, it's just it's not quite the bitch is back, but it does have that energy. And I'm going to slide in number 1 here with something that might be a little controversial, but Rock and Roll With Me. I just love the gospel influence on that. It just because that's going to play a big part in his the stuff that's coming up in 1975, and I think he does that really well. He's really just a natural at that. So those would be mine. I think that again, most of those were based on liking the songs and liking where the influences were coming from. Not that I think he was not putting his own stamp on it, because he obviously was, but if you tease it apart, you can find other people in there.
100%. I agree with that. And I had 2 honorable mentions for this album, and you didn't take the cue, man. You're supposed to say, "Well, I'm talking about Shaft," and then I say, "I could dig it, baby."
Oh,
but
right. Okay. Okay.
I wasn't just being a dick and telling you to shut your mouth. I was trying to get something to go in there, but fuck. Anyway, my first honorable mention is the intro. Future Legend is fucking the intro and the outro in this. I could have put the outro as honorable mention too. The intro and outro are freaking incredible in this album. I'm not gonna lie. And I usually am not. My previous co-host used to always pick the intro and outro on any album I picked just to fuck with me because he knew it pissed me off. but
Yeah.
The intro and outro on this album are fucking amazing. So I can't hate on that for this album. My other honorable mention was one of the 2 tracks that would have been the Ziggy Stardust musical, and that was "Rock and Roll With Me," because that was a fun fucking song. And
Yep.
you're right. It kind of showed where Bowie was heading. It kind of showed where he was heading. But my number my number 5, nobody mentioned this one yet. My number 1 didn't get mentioned, but we'll get to that. My number 5 was Candidate, because it got me thinking. Like, the lyrics had me thinking, and I like it about songs when lyrics had me thinking. So Candidate was definitely a good track. My number 4, like Jaimie said, is We Are the Dead. I enjoyed the hell out of that song. It's very pre-Marilyn Manson precursor. But We Are the Dead is an amazing track. And my number 3 was Rebel Rebel, the other Ziggy Stardust musical song. Was Rebel Rebel. I mean, I honestly could say I didn't ever really know Bowie sang that. I just knew the song. I didn't know it was a Bowie track until this album, but it's a good track. It's a classic track, and Rebel Rebel is amazing. So
okay, the
number 3
fact
is
that you said something about Marilyn Manson, and then you went to Rebel Rebel, you rebel bitch. I am exactly where you're at with that. So I just had to interrupt you to say that exactly what you said. What went right into a lyric for the new shit.
As much as that's not one of my favorite Manson songs by any fucking means, I will allow it.
Well,
But
you definitely will, honey.
But my number 2, and no one mentioned this one either yet. My number 2 was Sweet Thing Reprise, because the drumming in that song is fucking incredible. The drumming is incredible, and I was a percussionist from 4th to 8th grade. I was a percussionist, and then I stopped because I had to go up lunch to continue band, and I was like, fuck that. But some things are more important than band. But I love, my dad was a drummer too in an actual band, so I love drums, and Sweet Thing Reprise has some really amazing drums, so fucking A. I actually had Sweet Thing as on the list instead at one point, and then when I heard the reprise, I added the reprise to the fucking note on my list. I'm like, fuck that. This reprise is better than the original. But my number 1, and John mentioned it, but my number 1 is Big Brother, for the theme, for the lyrics, because I think Bowie was ahead of his time with that fucking track.
Yeah.
I think he maybe didn't even realize what it was going to become in this world. But Big Brother is actually like such a fucking thing nowadays that it's phenomenal, and it's the fact that he could see the future in a way was kind of scary. So,
well,
I mean,
two songs to come up tonight. The Elton song, the Ticking, and in 1984. Who would ever have thought that we'd be sitting here in 2025?
74. I mean, fuck,
74.
almost
more than 50 years ago.
More than 51 years ago. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. Like, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. Like, it really is.
Yeah. And just,
I mean,
I'm sorry,
I could see Bowie being a time traveler. I'm not gonna lie. I could see him being a time traveler, but like he's gonna go back to the past and be like, I'm gonna be a famous musician, but I'm gonna say shit that matters in the future. And I can see Bowie 100% representing that. Elton, I think I mean, maybe there was 1 or 2 school shootings back then that like had it on his mind, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the history of that track. Oh, okay, I guess, because that one girl shot up her school with a BB guns because she hated Mondays, and then an abandoned album based on that song. But I don't like Mondays, or I hate Mondays. I forget what band did it, but they made a song based on her. But they were big because of it. That's the only song that they really ever did that was famous. But I don't like Mondays. That was the name of the song, because that's what she said when the cops arrested her and asked her why she did it. She said, I don't like Mondays. So
bad excuse.
She literally, her school was across the street from her house, and she literally went out her living room window with a BB gun and shot people at the school. No one died, but I mean, it was still a horrible event in like the 70s or 60s. Whenever it happened, it was a huge thing. But so, yeah, I mean, both these artists were ahead of their times, and so, folks, we discussed the album thrice tonight. And I got to learn about a new artist I never really experienced, and I got to experience some more greatness with John and Bowie. So I can't complain. It's been 74 is a fun fucking trip.
Did you just say you enjoyed my choice and our game?
It's Bowie.
Jeremy?
I can
Jeremy?
never hate on Bowie. I can never hate on Bowie. Nothing he does is bad.
You.
Just different.
You're.
Just
I
different.
fucking love you. You're welcome.
He's
Just,
different. He's not
yeah.
bad. He never will be bad. He's just different.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't put in a shout out here for it. This is, I'm sure everybody knows this, but Bowie's voice on this just is amazing. There's some of the things he does with his voice. You know, we think of him as an artist, we think of him as a songwriter, we think of him as a performer, probably as the biggest thing. But his voice is amazing. He's got an incredible voice.
Yeah, I mean, him and Elton both have incredible voices. They really do. They always will. And I mean, the notes that Elton can hit, the notes that Bowie can hit, are always fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They could have done this. I don't know if they did, but if they ever did a song together, it would be phenomenal.
Just I wonder if I wonder if that seems like it would have been a natural for the two of them to do something. I mean, Bowie did something with Bing Crosby, for God's sakes.
A Christmas song, but yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, but I don't know. I don't think they ever did. I could be wrong. I could 100% be wrong, but I don't think they ever actually crossed paths, like, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But I don't know.
bad.
I don't know.
Too bad. Yeah.
I mean, you honestly think
We'll never
you
know.
honestly think the Coke train would have actually, like, hit them both at the same station
That's
at one point,
right.
but
Yeah,
but
they were traveling in the same circles, that's for sure. Yeah.
who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that tomorrow. I have to Google that tomorrow to see if that actually happened at some point. But
Yeah.
John, we want to thank you for coming on, because it's been a phenomenal show. An hour and a half to talk about. If it takes an hour and a half to talk about 3 albums, you know it's 3 good albums. Like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Damn right. This is the longest show I've been on. So thank you, John.
Oh, no, thank you guys. Really, no, really, we picked out some. You know, it's whenever I can sit down and listen and be surprised again and you know, really enjoy stuff I'm listening to. I'm gonna go to bed tonight. You know, the bitch's back is going to be in my head. I gotta say.
Well, I gotta go to bed with my wife, and she's gonna be pissed this lasts so long. So yeah, 100%. It'll be in my head as well. But
it's been great. It's
different
great meeting you guys. Great talking music, and thank you for your hospitality. I really do appreciate it. And
of course,
yeah, Jaimie, even though I can't see you, thank you as well. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Over here. So yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
That's right, folks. But John, where can they find you and everything you do? Where promote yourself? Like, where can people find you?
Let's see. Well, you know, Spotify. Just you go to John Hamilton. There's more than one John Hamilton, so you'll have to.
Folks, a trick to find him. He's not the big black guy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think he's called Big John Hamilton. Actually,
he is called Big John Hamilton. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if you go in there, there's a few John Hamiltons, but you can usually, you'll see my picture there, and then if you're looking for my book, you can just go or books. You can go to Amazon. Just John Hamilton, and we did mostly music tonight, so we're not going to go down that track but I really appreciate, Jeremy, is you listening to the piano stuff. I mean, that's so far away from what we're talking about tonight that it's in another world. So
is it though? Elton would disagree with that.
Elton probably would disagree with that. Yeah. Probably when he sits down at home, that's probably what he plays. So, but again, I seriously, I appreciate you listening to that and commenting on that. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Folks, it'd be amazing background music for any party you're at. Like if you're having a relaxing soiree, it would be amazing background music.
Soiree music, yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, have a great night, everybody.
And everybody's favorite Slipknot Chica with Elton John glasses. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Slipknot Chica or at Slipknot Chica 17, but you can find me on the Book of Faces as Jaimie Fuller. You make sure you spell my name with a Jaimie, folks. You better get it right or you're not going to find me. And
I love
I'm
that.
here for you. I'm here for you on Facebook, Instagram, and if you're lucky, other than that, maybe X or Snapchat. Just hit me up, Slipknot Chica 17. Fuck around and find out.
Well, I mean, you got a boyfriend now, so Snapchat's no fun. But
Yeah.
and folks, maybe Jaimie will start something like Chancey did, where if you can find her on Facebook, she'll bring an album in that you loved and wanted to bring on the and want her to bring on the show. Maybe she'll
There
do
you
that
go.
someday.
There you go.
But it happened like 3 times with my previous co-host, and I discovered some good music that way. So fuck it. If it works, it works. I'm too easy to find, so don't even try because I'm too easy to find. But I ain't doing that shit. But you can find both your musers on Facebook as the Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed Podcast Collective Facebook group, UCubed. You can find us as Squatchy Largefoot on Facebook, bipedal Sasquatch, who was trained by Arcturians to use the internet. Don't know why, but he likes me and he likes to promote my shows, so follow him. You can find us on XXBaby in the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard. You can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, the only place to see every episode we've ever done. Whether it was Jaimie or Chancey, every episode we've ever done is on YouTube. And all specials as well. But we will thank John one more time for coming on because it's been a fun fucking episode. I mean, my God. I haven't had this long an episode in months and months and months, and it's fucking about time. All 69 of you watching, you got a show. So you're welcome.
Okay.
And I love that number. But come back next week. Come back this Saturday for our special bracket. And come back next week for 2 regular episodes. That's right. 2 regular episodes, Monday and Tuesday night. But until then, have a good one, everybody.